Located amidst the challenging Himalayan terrain at an altitude exceeding 8,800 feet, the Kargil airstrip poses distinct challenges for pilots in a landmark feat. A C-130J aircraft of the Indian Air Force recently landed at the Kargil airstrip in the night for the first time. This synergistic approach not only assessed the IAF's logistical capabilities but also refined the operational coordination between its air and ground units, affirming their preparedness for any unforeseen circumstances. The Defence Ministry has also been focusing on enhancing infrastructure at almost all airfields along the line of actual control, including the advanced landing grounds as per operational requirements. Joining us at this point is Wing Commander S. Sudhakaran, former Indian Air Force officer. We also have Group Captain V.N. Jha, former Joint Director DRDO, joining us live. Also with us is Major General G.G. Dwivedi, Strategic Affairs expert. Let me begin with you first, Group Captain Jha, on what you make of this, very daring but superb landing.
Absolutely. This is, laudable effort by Indian Air Force, but surely it is the capability of the aircraft that enables you to land at such places. Absolute darkness. We have done it at various other places, and Kargil is only one of the strips. You may remember about 6 years back, this aircraft had done landing at the various ALJ, including Daulat Beg Oldie. And that time, Daulat Beg Oldie, there was no proper runway. It was a cavalry of dust that the entire length of the runway, the so-called runway, had at that time. So we have done it. Indian Air Force have done it in the past. But looking at the technical aspects of it, technical angle of it, the moment you have those capability in any craft which permits you to make an approach about 1 meter plus minus landing approach in the dark of the night. That is something which is great in some of these aircraft, and that enables you to attempt to come very close before you take the controls in your own hand. So this is something the aircraft enables you. You may remember earlier Indian Air Force had gone to Maldives, there in the dark of the night, absolutely in the zero visibility condition. Those days aircraft, that aircraft also had taken the entire crew and the combatants, everyone there, close to the airfield, very close, about 1 kilometer above the ground, where the aircraft had taken us up there, and then thereafter pilot assumed the control and landed there. So it's a continuity. Earlier we had the Russian aircrafts doing similar things, not exactly such things. Now it is American aircraft, 130 series of this, and many other aircrafts have got these capabilities, including the helicopters. Usually helicopters that we had, Cheetah, Chetak, we usually didn't take night sorties. But these aircraft, whether it is the Apache or other series of the aircraft, the heavy lifter, all these are capable of making the night flying and precision landing. So with those capability, I compliment Indian Air Force, because Kargil is a very sensitive area where such landing capability must be there, because we should remember that the Leh is the one spot which is for every aircraft, but should that airfield become inaccessible for some reason, then hardly there is another approach or any other landing ground. So it is complemented by, for all reasons that Indian Air Force has made such landing. I'll be also glad if the roads which are nearby Leh, if those could be given that capability of landing onto those roads, like many other national highways have got this capability. That will provide Indian Air Force an alternative in the times of panic should Leh airport become defunct. So today there is a Kargil. Today Leh was already there. Thois is another runway where we have been doing the landing, all sort of landing. Once we have crossed the Kilo Lima, Khatungla pass, then thereafter Thois becomes available to us. Daulat Beg Oldie today is a very reliable air force where the landing can be done. So hats off to Indian Air Force and the government of India, which has enabled all these possibilities. That is where we are right now, and we compliment Indian Air Force crew to have made such landing.
All right. Let me, in fact, take that straight across to Major General Dwivedi as well. Major General Dwivedi, what stands out for you for this landing? What makes it different? What makes it unique? And what does it tell us about our Indian Air Force?
Well, Uday, I'll cover more on the strategic and operational dimension because having served in these areas multiple times, commanded my troops in Siachen, Leh Ladakh, Chishul. So I'll primarily focus as to what are the dividends or what are the payoffs when such a landing is taking place or such airfields are made operational. First and foremost, Kargil itself is a very strategic area because not only Pakistan 1999, but after Chinese incursions in DBO and Eastern Ladakh in 2020 May, I think the importance of Kargil has gone manifold. Second point is, as an infantryman, I can stay with a certain amount of conviction that you cannot hold on in mountains without the Air Force, especially logistic support. And I commanded my battalion in Siachen and thereafter in Chishul and such areas that without Air Force support or without air support, which can be both from the Army Aviation and from the Air Force, you cannot sustain. Secondly, air power is a game changer because what requires in the mountain is speed. With what speed you can operate, and air power gives you that dimension, that speed. After Air Force then has to operate from airfields, not only Kargil airfield or the Khois or Leh, but there's the important airfield Neoma or Stakna. So therefore, I think we need to pay a lot of emphasis on all-weather capability because today the fighting is 24/7, 365, and also that old age, winters and summers. I think they have almost overlapped. There are still a lot of possibility of carrying out operations in winters per se. And the third and the last point which I wish to make is that it's a man-machine combination because these aircraft like C-130, Globemaster, they are short takeoff and landing, what we call stall. So therefore, they can land and take off from very short strips, and we need to ensure that all weather capability is given because most of the time it's a bad weather in these areas. And the last issue which I wish to point out is till today we don't have all weather capability connectivity on the ground with Leh Ladakh either from Zojila or from Manali side. So until the roads come up, I think air power will be very critical because it's the only air power that can sustain us during the winters when these roads are not operational. So I would say that this effort is laudable and we need to ensure that all other airfields like Neoma, Leh Ladakh, Khois also have all-weather capability.
Yes, obviously the Defence Ministry, Wing Commander Sudhakaran has been concentrating on, improving infrastructure at almost all the airfields along the LAC and the LOC, of course, and, ramping up those ALGs at our advanced landing grounds. And this is clearly resulting in feats like this, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely true. Because till about a decade back, the Indian Ministry of Defense used to believe that the best strategy to defend the borders is not to develop them. Soon they realized that China is not going to sit quiet just because the borders are not developed. They embarked on a policy of salami slicing for over 4 to 5 decades. They've consumed enough amount of land. Today, when the opposition cries fox, they conveniently forget the narrative that they have ceded a significant amount of land area to our opponents. Had it been not for the Vajpayee-led government's decisive action in during the Kargil war and subsequently during Op Parakram, we would have lost significant ground to Pakistan also. So that is where Kargil becomes slightly of very high importance geographically as well as from the operational standpoint also. Also, if we don't boost the infrastructure there, connect it with all possible means of aid, both by land and air, it is vulnerable to attacks. We cannot. We have to be on toes in these terrains because we have the Dolat Beg only on one side. We have got the Siachen Glacier to defend, and these are the feeder infrastructural airstrips to those strategically important vantage points, which we have captured with great valor as well as sacrifice. Mind you, Siachen Glacier is the tallest peak that is being maintained by any army in the world. And we all know how difficult it is to hold on to that post. In fact, 10 years back, there was this talk of, permanent peace, Aman Ki Asha, and they were talking about demilitarizing Siachen Glacier. We should never do that because today we are sitting at a vantage point. Demilitarizing will only be counterproductive to the Indian Army and to the national interest of the country as far as defending our borders from both the north and northeastern side. Both these enemies are foxes of the highest order. They can't be trusted for a bit. They are highly untrustworthy enemies and they don't show etiquettes generally shown by even the worst of the soldiers and the worst of the lands. They are worse than the worst of the people that we can think of and know of. So that's why it becomes very important that we be on our toes, protect these vulnerable areas. So when Indian Air Force today lands its aircrafts there, the C-130 class, which is, I think, a 20-ton class of transport aircraft, that is the level of support that we can give to the troops in the forward area. This actually enhances and boosts the morale of the soldiers who are going to fight there. They're going to know that, yes, come a war, we will be given the necessary aid, the necessary ammunition and the rations to keep our stomach full and as well as our minds absolutely in high morale to be able to fight the enemies. So we also need to understand that in this time of peace, yes, there is not a major conflict happening now. Pakistan is in tatters. Chinese economy is not doing well. They are also having rumblings because the Chinese Communist Party has just fired the top generals from its the CCP. So there are a lot of problems on both the northwestern side as well as the eastern side. But that is not lulled the Indian Air Force, into a laid-back attitude, and this is what we need to appreciate from the Air Force perspective, as well as from the Tri-Services perspective, and as well as from the Ministry of Defense. We are showing that we are telling the world that we are on our toes. We are not taking things for granted. We are planning by the minute. We are building our reserves. And we are also enhancing our skills. We are sharpening them. And come war, we will, there is the saying that when we were in the academy, we were told that the more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war. So this kind of activities are only a reiteration of the fact that we are sweating, we're sweating continuously. The top leadership is continuously in planning, enhancing, making it better. Whatever we didn't do in the past probably is being set right now. I'm really happy for the Indian Air Force. I'm really proud today as a veteran, to know that I serve in such a wonderful organization, and India is really safe in the hands of the Indian Air Force. And the skies are safe. And so is the land, because we are today a united force.
Yes, and of course now, going forward, this is going to enhance the capability much further of our forces, isn't it? At a very strategic point, Major General Dwivedi, at a very strategic point in area for us, where anyways the terrain is extremely difficult, as you said, you know the area very well.
Absolutely, because someone who follows the warfare very closely today, there's no such thing as peace or war. We are in constant, phase of war as such, because either you're fighting or you're preparing for war. And today we are in the gray zone warfare. Means that when there may be little lull, that means that someone is preparing. And in the mountains, your preparation is your infrastructure. You know how well you are connected, how well you have the logistic capability. That decides the outcome of the war. Second point is that we have no choice because since about 2013, the Chinese have gone hammer and tong as far as infrastructure is concerned. They have made 12 airfields in Tibet, which are, I would say, operationally all weather airfields. Their connectivity has gone multifold. So I think we have no choice. And we have to match the capability of the adversary because both sides, the gray zone warfare is on. Chinese are inching forward. They are where, I mean, in our times, where there are two battalions deployed, today there are two divisions deployed. So LAC is being contested. LAC is not being patrolled like in our times. Today it's being contested. And wherever there is weakness, you will find that the opponent will try to come in. So I will make two very important points. Firstly, we need to get out of the mindset of peace and war. No, it's a war all the time, and it's a war which is low intensity, gray zone warfare, and we have to keep preparing it day in and day out. And second is the collusion between Pakistan and China. You know, when I was commanding in Siachen, there was no such threat from Karakorum side as far as China was concerned. But today, the Chinese are well into DBO, and China, you know, from the western side, we are certainly being, you know, threatened. So therefore, there is a collusion, and that's why Kargil has become the hub, because there is the access from Kargil which leads across on the other side, not only via Khatungla and Leh Ladakh. So I would only say that we need to keep preparing all the time because there's no lull at all today. And second point is that Air Force is a very, very critical element in today's warfare, especially when I talk of mountains, because it's a game changer. And if you have capability of flying in the all weather, you have the airfield which can sustain. I think the infantry can only sustain with the logistic support, and that logistic support comes either from the aviation of the army or from the Air Force. Therefore, I think we are on the right lines, and we need to keep moving forward.
Yes.
Because there's no ultimate ceiling to preparation, because you have to out prepare the enemy today.
This is a ratification, Group Captain Jha, but also we must continue this infrastructure push and this capabilities push for our forces. And obviously, this does show, apart from, of course, the the great stealth shown, and also, of course, the the logistical capabilities, but also the great air and ground coordination as well that was seen in this operation.
Absolutely, Uday. Look, today the concept of preparations for the armed forces is changing. You know, gone are the days when Air Force used to do some night landing here and there and used to pack their bag. Today it is the entire joint command. The three services are working in tandem today. Absolutely be sure that when this night landing has been done by Indian Air Force, there would have been the army element as well to take benefit of this particular approach. And anything that is happening today has got that particular thought process in the mind, that it is the theater command that is coming into the concept. It is the joint forces which is coming into the concept, that whenever Air Force is supposed to be doing something, it is not air operations in absolutely say isolation. Whether you look at the air operations, ops, air combat, or look at the air support, or look at the joint ground support that Indian Air Force gives, everything is all stitched together. And that fabric, which has got all these stitches, are the tri-services which is working today. Maybe CDS is one small component, which is mostly in the provisioning of the logistics, but absolutely have no doubt that all three service chiefs, they are all working in tandem. Should it be air operation, should it be ground support, should it be air offensive into the enemy territory, everything is happening in tandem. And there, today's technology is also having a much further deep reach into the adversary or enemy territories. We are not just looking at our LOC or LAC. We are looking much deeper into the other side of the territory being held by our adversaries or enemies. Through various means, it is not only the Indian Air Force. One reconnaissance aircraft flies, and that gives the information. Today, even the space is giving us various types of input, what is happening on the other side. So, in totality, I will say that it is a welcome step, and I wish such joint ventures, joint exercises continue. And as Sudhakar was trying to say, more you sweat in the peace, less you bleed in the war. It is not a myth. It is the truth of services, the armed forces of any nation that holds good. And on that front, I wish that more such platforms, more such areas are made approachable by Indian Air Force, whether by whichever aircraft is there in the remote access, where the army can be supported, army's logistics, army's supplements, resupplies can be made available to them through the air sport. So all those are in offing. It is only these type of approach that will change the type of combat that we have seen in the past. It will be altogether a new front. Much more teeth will be there in the combat in case it should happen anytime in the future. Uday.
All right, let me quickly now thank you all for joining us on the broadcast.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.